The reality is out there, and it is peculiar. Scientists have verified the presence of at least 4,000 additional planets within the universe, and several of these possess truly unusual characteristics. Here are 21 strange phenomena on other planets that scientists previously deemed impossible. Hashtag 21. GJ1214b. Earth is a planet primarily characterized by water, with its vast oceans covering more than 2/3 of the planet's surface area. Those oceans harbor a significant ecosystem, yet our planet remains predominantly inhabited by terrestrial life forms. However, orbiting a star located 48 light-years from the Sun is another planet, GJ1214b, which may redefine the concept of a water world. Scientists have examined this planet using advanced telescopes and have confirmed the presence of water, an abundance of water. Indeed, the entire planet might be enveloped by a single enormous ocean, with any landmass submerged deep beneath the surface. This suggests it could be a potential habitat for life. It is a sizable planet, categorized as a super-Earth, and exhibits a relatively low density. Its structure resembles that of the icy moon Europa, which orbits Jupiter. And in 2013, NASA detected what appears to be clouds in the atmosphere surrounding the planet. This positions GJ1214b as one of the most promising candidates for extraterrestrial life. And its proximity to the Sun renders it a subject of interest for astronomers. It is probable that a water world would feature areas that are completely frozen, yet life could thrive in its more temperate zones. Conversely, another planet presents a significantly less hospitable environment. Hashtag 20. Ogle 2005 BLG 390LB. Let us journey to the farthest corners of the universe, nearly 25,000 light-years from Earth, where we encounter one of the most remote exoplanets ever identified. However, as if the extreme isolation were not sufficient, there exists another reason that renders this planet one of the most inhospitable in the universe. It revolves around a red dwarf star, which is among the weakest in existence. This results in minimal heat, transforming any planet in its orbit into a frozen wasteland. How frigid is it? The surface temperature is estimated to be 364 degrees Fahrenheit. What would the surface of a planet at such a low temperature be like? For starters, everything would be encased in ice. The entire planet would be enveloped by a thick layer of ice amidst mountains and plains. Any organic material present on the surface would freeze solid within seconds, becoming merely another ice sculpture on the landscape. It is highly improbable that anything could endure on this frigid planet, at least on the surface, yet it remains uncertain what may exist deep beneath the surface. The ice layer has likely persisted for millions of years, and if the planet possesses a heated core, it is unlikely, but conceivable, that some form of life could be concealed in the depths. But what about a planet that is fluffy? Hashtag 19. TRES 4b. Welcome to one of the largest planets in the known universe, orbiting a star in the constellation Hercules. It is located approximately 1,400 light-years from Earth and is nearly twice the size of the gas giant Jupiter. However, it is not its size that distinguishes it, rather it is its peculiar chemical composition. It is situated very close to its star, which results in surface temperatures that can soar to 2,300 degrees Fahrenheit. The planet completes a rotation around its star in merely 3 days, enduring extreme heat and pressure throughout, which has resulted in a consistency that is unparalleled in the universe. If one can tolerate the heat, it may be pleasant to rest one's head upon. Scientists characterize the consistency of TRES 4b as puffy. It possesses a texture similar to cork and has a density of approximately 1/3 of a gram per cubic centimeter. This was the lowest density recorded for any planet at the time of its discovery. The large, powerful star it orbits has created optimal conditions for the planet to soften and expand while maintaining its structural integrity. A person on this planet could likely detach a piece and take it home if they were not too preoccupied with being incinerated. However, one planet appears to truly challenge the laws of physics. Hashtag 18, HD 106906b. This planet seems relatively straightforward to study. Located less than 350 light-years from Earth in the constellation Crux, it is not among the most distant or peculiar planets that astronomers have encountered. What they have found, however, is quite unusual. Specifically, this planet appears to defy all known rules of planetary composition. It is situated at an extraordinary distance from its Sun, approximately 60 billion miles, over 20 times the distance between the Sun and Neptune. Any planet at such a distance from its star would typically be freezing cold. So, what accounts for its extreme heat? With 11 times the mass of Jupiter, it is remarkably dense. Yet, the origin of its astonishing heat is not what one might anticipate. It actually generates its own heat. During its formation, the residual heat produced an infrared glow that continues to warm or scorch the planet to this day. Scientists are still endeavoring to understand precisely how a planet can maintain an orbit at such a great distance from its star. However, at this moment, this peculiar world continues to be one of the greatest enigmas of the universe. What about a planet that is quite familiar? Hashtag 17, Kepler 438b. NASA consistently monitors for planets that may support life, utilizing the Earth Similarity Index to evaluate each potential candidate. They assess factors such as radius, mass, and surface conditions. One planet boasts an unprecedented rating of 0.88, situated within the orbit of Kepler 438. Its orbit closely resembles that of Earth, placing it in a habitable zone where liquid water could potentially exist. In fact, its temperatures are comparable to those of Earth, averaging around 37 degrees Fahrenheit in winter. So, is this world genuinely a twin of Earth? Not exactly. For starters, Kepler 438 orbits a red dwarf star, which has a mass and radius approximately half that of the Sun. This star is considerably dimmer than our Sun, resulting in a significantly colder planet. Although it is deemed to lie within the habitable zone, the radiation emitted by its star is likely to render the planet a challenging environment for sustaining life. Every 100 days, it experiences violent storms similar to more intense versions of the solar flares produced by our Sun. If anything can endure the radiation waves present on Kepler 438b, it is likely to appear significantly different from the life forms found on Earth. Color is not the sole characteristic that distinguishes this planet. Hashtag 16, Gliese 504b. If there were an award for the most stylish planet in the galaxy, it would undoubtedly be awarded to this planet, orbiting the star 59 Virginis. Located approximately 57 light-years from Earth, it captures the attention of astronomers for one primary reason: its breathtaking magenta hue, which gives it the appearance of a colossal cotton candy ball rather than a planet. This coloration results from its status as a newly formed planet, still radiating heat. Therefore, despite its inviting appearance, this planet serves more as a cautionary indicator, as this gas giant boasts a temperature of around 520 degrees Fahrenheit. However, this is far from the most peculiar aspect of this planet. It is roughly the same size as Jupiter, and planets of such considerable size are not particularly rare. Yet, most of them maintain a specific distance from their star. In contrast, Gliese 504b orbits at a distance approximately 9 times greater from its star than Jupiter does from the Sun, prompting astronomers to ponder how such a massive entity can sustain its orbit at such a distance from its star. While it remains classified as a planet, some astronomers have started to theorize that it may actually qualify as a brown dwarf, a substellar object that has not yet attained the mass necessary to become a star. However, one planet may have been present at the inception of it all. Hashtag 15, PSR B162026b. Far from Earth, over 12,400 light-years away, we find ourselves in one of the universe's oldest regions. So ancient, in fact, that the planet concealed there has been nicknamed Methuselah, after the ancient biblical figure. This planet is among the oldest known, with an astonishing age of 12.7 billion years, more than double the age of Earth. Thus, whatever force was responsible for the formation of this planet was likely as close to the Big Bang as anything in the universe has ever been. Its mass is nearly twice that of Jupiter, and its extensive orbit requires about a century to complete. However, this ancient world has more to offer than just its age. PSR B162026b does not revolve around a single star. Instead, it orbits two celestial bodies, a rapidly spinning pulsar and a white dwarf. These stars also engage in mutual orbits approximately every 6 months, and it is considered one of the oldest binary star systems known in the universe. The age is merely one of the few remarkable aspects of this system. The stars are predominantly burnt out and are situated within a vast cluster of 100,000 stars. This region is teeming with stellar activity, and the most astonishing feature of this distant planet is its ability to endure for billions of years. What ancient mysteries might it conceal? Nevertheless, it is not the most inhospitable planet in the cosmos. Hashtag 14, TOI 849b. At first glance, TOI 849b appears to be an ordinary planet. It resembles a colossal rocky world. Indeed, it is the largest rocky planet ever identified, nearly 40 times the size of Earth. However, its origins may not have been so mundane. This planet, located approximately 741 light-years from Earth, possesses one of the harshest climates ever recorded in space. It has an exceptionally close orbit around its star, completing a rotation every single day. That equates to an abundance of birthday celebrations, and its proximity to the star results in extreme heat, an astonishing 2,800 degrees Fahrenheit. So intense is the heat that it may no longer resemble its original form. Despite its considerable size, TO 849b may have initially been even larger. It is approximately the size of Neptune, yet it lacks an atmosphere. This has prompted scientists to theorize that the planet may not be a rocky body at all, but rather the exposed, charred core of a colossal gas giant. The intense radiation emitted by the star may have led to photoevaporation, which is the gradual removal of the atmosphere from the planet. Almost all planets of this size are gas giants or possess a significantly different composition, but TOI 849b is so extraordinarily unique that it has been assigned a new classification, a Chthonian planet. The following planet takes one characteristic beyond the realm of possibility. Number 13. 1SWASPJ1407b, located approximately 434 light-years from Earth in the constellation Centaurus, is a massive gas giant that resembles Saturn. In one notable aspect, it possesses rings. Thus far, this is the only exoplanet discovered with rings, however. Outside our solar system, they seem to be much larger. 1SWASP-J1407b does not merely have rings, it boasts an extensive system of rings that is around 640 times larger than those of Saturn. How substantial are these rings? It is estimated that if this planet were placed within our solar system, its rings would be easily visible to the naked eye and would far exceed the size of the Moon. Yet, this is not the only peculiar feature of this planet. Telescopes have identified a significant gap within the ring system, suggesting that a moon may be orbiting the planet from within its rings. Additionally, the rings may be expanding, as debris from objects such as comets is being drawn in. However, the most peculiar aspect of this planet is that it has vanished. After being observed in 2012, it has not been found since, prompting scientists to speculate that its orbit may be quite erratic. This star system is among the younger ones in the universe, suggesting that everything surrounding it could be in a state of constant change. Now, let us consider a world characterized by duality. Hashtag 12. Gliese 581c, the Batman antagonist Two-Face, is recognized for having one half of his face disfigured, with one side representing good and the other side representing evil. He would feel quite at home on Gliese 581c, one of the most extraordinary planets in the universe. Situated merely 20 light-years from Earth in the Libra constellation, it is significantly closer to its star than Earth is to the Sun. What sets it apart is its tidal locking, which means that one hemisphere is perpetually oriented towards the star, while the opposite hemisphere remains in perpetual darkness. This creates two entirely distinct climates on the planet at all times. But is it possible for life to exist there? Certainly not across most of the planet. The hemisphere facing the star is perpetually scorched, exhibiting climates akin to those of Mercury or Venus. Conversely, the dark hemisphere of the planet is a frozen wasteland, unsuitable for any known form of life. However, at the edges of the planet, where the two climates converge, lies a narrow strip of land referred to as the Terminator Zone. In this region, it is conceivable that the climates are temperate enough to support life, and the planet is sufficiently Earth-like that scientists have even transmitted a radio message to it in hopes of establishing first contact. This subsequent planet raises the question, how hot can one become? Hashtag 11. WASP-12b. The designation of this planet may evoke images of a nightmarish realm teeming with malevolent stinging insects. Fortunately, these creatures are likely confined to B-movies, yet the reality is no less perilous. Situated approximately 1,400 light-years from Earth, this planet ranks among the hottest in the cosmos. Located merely 1/44th of the distance from its star as Earth is from the Sun, this Jupiter-like planet is thought to attain scorching temperatures of up to 4,600 degrees Fahrenheit, and there is no relief from the heat, as it completes an orbit around its star every single day. Furthermore, it is only becoming hotter. The temperatures on WASP-12b are not only lethal to any form of life, but they are also sufficient to liquefy metals such as titanium. Additionally, the planet is exceedingly dark, one of the most profoundly black planets known, absorbing light at an astonishing rate. Although the planet is tidally locked, the dark side can still reach a blistering 2,200 degrees Fahrenheit. However, it may not be available for study much longer. Recent research suggests that it is so close to the star that the gas giant is gradually being consumed by it, and in merely 10 million years, the fiery planet of WASP-12b may cease to exist. We understand you appreciate Earth, so how about Mega-Earth? Hashtag 10. Kepler-10c. Located around 608 light-years away in the constellation Draco, the planet Kepler-10c has been under observation for some time and particularly piques NASA's interest due to its resemblance to Earth, albeit on a much larger scale. It is one of the largest Earth-like planets ever identified, weighing 17 times more than Earth and nearly double its size. Most planets that are considerably larger than Earth are classified as gas giants, prompting scientists to revise their understanding of planetary structure, which has led to the emergence of a new category of worlds known as mega-Earths. However, the question arises, could these mega-Earths host mega-humans? Kepler-10c shares several characteristics with Earth, such as an atmosphere and the probable existence of both land and water, yet it also exhibits numerous differences. For instance, its orbital period is merely 45 days, in contrast to Earth's 365 days, typically indicating a significantly closer orbit. This proximity results in a considerably higher temperature. It is estimated that Kepler-10c is nearly 4 times hotter than Jupiter, making it highly improbable for it to support life. Additionally, it is classified as a high-pressure planet, suggesting that much of its water may have been rapidly frozen into what is referred to as hot ice. It is a colossal, unstable world, but it is not Earth. At times, a single factor can render a planet exceptionally peculiar. Hashtag 9. WASP-17b is not an evil bug planet, but the planets orbiting the WASP-17 star certainly seem to embody strangeness. This is yet another unusual puffy planet with a low density, approximately twice the size of Jupiter. Now officially designated as Ditso, this enormous planet garnered global attention upon the discovery of something remarkably odd. It is the first planet ever identified to possess a retrograde orbit, revolving around its star in the opposite direction. It appears to challenge the very laws of gravity as it perpetually rotates in opposition to its star. However, what could have led to this extraordinary phenomenon? Scientists have yet to formulate definitive theories, and given that WASP-17b is located about 1,300 light-years away in the constellation Scorpius, no one is likely to reach it anytime soon. However, one thing is certain. Whatever caused this phenomenon must have been extraordinarily powerful to surpass the gravitational influence of the star. A collision with a smaller planet, or a gravitational slingshot effect induced by a celestial body, could have produced this impact millions of years ago. With an average temperature of 2,300 degrees Fahrenheit, this world is extremely inhospitable, regardless of its trajectory. Now, let us explore the dark side. Hashtag 8. TRES-2b. Located approximately 750 light-years from Earth, a planet resides in the shadows. At first glance, it appears to be a typical gas giant, larger than Jupiter, and with a temperature nearing 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit. However, this tidally locked planet possesses one particularly distinctive feature: it allows no light to enter or escape. It is recognized as the darkest known exoplanet in the universe, reflecting less than 1% of the light that strikes it. This characteristic renders the planet one of the darkest entities in the universe, reflecting even less light than coal. But what accounts for its extreme darkness? To the unaided eye, it does not appear entirely devoid of light. The minimal light that is reflected from the planet emits a faint magenta hue, giving it the appearance of an ideal refuge for an intergalactic conqueror. Nevertheless, it is believed that the planet lacks reflective clouds, similar to those that provide Jupiter with its distinctive colors. Additionally, it is situated much closer to its parent star than Jupiter, and may contain light-absorbing chemicals within its atmosphere. One thing is certain: this planet does not easily reveal its secrets. However, when it comes to inhospitable planets, it is difficult to surpass this one. Hashtag 7. Kepler-78b. Upon its discovery in 2013, Kepler-78b appeared remarkably similar to Earth. At that time, regarding mass, density, and radius, it was indeed the planet closest to our home. Yet, having a comparable foundation and being a similar planet are entirely different matters. Since this planet does not reside in the Goldilocks zone where life can thrive, its climate is vastly different from ours. Instead, it exists in one of the most extreme climates imaginable, situated less than 500,000 miles from its host star, over 40 times closer than Mercury is to the Sun. To say that this results in high temperatures would be an understatement. The average temperature hovers around 3,700 degrees Fahrenheit. But the planet's composition is akin to Earth, rocky with a molten core. The distinction lies in the fact that, due to such extreme temperatures, the rocky surface will never fully solidify and harden. The planet will perpetually bubble with molten rock, creating a planet-wide scenario reminiscent of "the floor is lava." Kepler-78b is among the few lava worlds ever discovered, and it is improbable that any form of life could endure there. From the nearest planet to perhaps the most remote. Number 6. 2 Mass 212650 293. What a lengthy name! This planet, with its extensive title, is not particularly remarkable on its own. It is situated approximately 110 light-years from Earth, with an age ranging between 10 and 45 million years, and is likely a substantial gas giant, significantly exceeding the size of Jupiter. While it lacks any distinctive features of its own, its surroundings are remarkably peculiar. Scientists have identified the planet, yet they have been unable to locate its star. This planet appears to be adrift in space, however. Is it genuinely functioning independently of a star? The answer is not entirely affirmative. The planet, commonly referred to as 2 Mass J2126 8140, orbits a red dwarf star. This results in its local star being both faint and difficult to detect, which accounts for the failure to find it, although there are additional factors at play. Furthermore, this planet resides within one of the largest solar systems known in the universe, and is likely the most distant planet from its star. It is estimated to be approximately 1 trillion kilometers away from its host star, and takes around 900,000 years to complete one rotation. Therefore, for anyone considering a business venture in this region, investing in birthday cakes would not be advisable. Nonetheless, some planets do indeed go rogue. Hashtag 5. OTS-44. OTS-44 is an enormous entity, 11 times the mass of Jupiter and at least 1/4 of its radius. Its size is so considerable that some astronomers speculate it may not qualify as a planet, but rather as a brown dwarf. It is located about 550 light-years from Earth in the constellation Chamaeleon, although it is not necessarily confined to that location. OT-44 is distinctive because it does not revolve around any star within the Chamaeleon constellation. It is a substantial free-floating entity and may represent the largest known rogue planet in the cosmos. The term rogue planet carries a negative connotation. Typically, rogue planets are significantly smaller than OT-44, often comprising rocky materials that have either failed to enter an orbit or have been displaced due to a cosmic impact. How does OT-44 challenge the principles of physics? In spite of its considerable mass, it ranks among the lowest mass planets that drift freely, and it is thought to possess a central disk primarily made up of dust, ice, and rocks. While it may not conform to the conventional definition of a planet, it undoubtedly ranks as one of the most peculiar objects adrift in the universe. Now, let us examine a planet that exemplifies the need for speed. Hashtag 4. PSR J1719 1438b. One of the factors that influences a planet's conditions is its star and its distance from it, and this planet exemplifies extremes. The star it orbits is a millisecond pulsar, characterized by a rotation period of less than 10 milliseconds, shorter than the time it takes to blink. PSR J1719 1438b revolves around a diminutive star that measures only about 12 miles in diameter, yet possesses a mass greater than that of the Sun. This results in an environment of exceptionally high pressure, and the planet's close orbit around this powerful source of light allows it to complete a full rotation in just over 2 hours. But what is the surface environment like? When in proximity to a pulsar, the pressure is extraordinarily intense. This planet is thought to be made up of pressurized carbon. However, the temperature and pressure are so extreme that its density is likely to exceed that of diamond. This planet is situated approximately 4,000 light-years from Earth, and the investigation into the characteristics of planets under such conditions is just commencing. Upon its discovery in 2011, it was considered to be the densest planet ever found. Now, let us turn our attention to a planet that could potentially make you wealthy if you could reach it. #3. Janssen, located around 40 light-years from us in the Cancer constellation, was initially designated as 55 Cancri E and initially appeared to be akin to Neptune. Its relative closeness to Earth allowed scientists to examine it more thoroughly than many other exoplanets, leading to surprising findings. Janssen may have a diameter approximately twice that of Earth, yet it is remarkably dense and primarily consists of carbon. It completes a rotation in less than 18 hours and is situated extremely close to its star, resulting in intense pressure. However, the most intriguing aspect may lie on its surface. The surface temperature of Janssen is extreme, reaching around 4,400 degrees Fahrenheit. When this intense pressure is combined with the carbon-rich environment, scientists theorize that the surface of Janssen is adorned with diamonds, a significant fortune for anyone who manages to reach it and collect them, provided they can endure some of the most perilous conditions in the universe. Unfortunately, its treasures will have to await beings with far superior spacesuits than ours. Nevertheless, it is not the only planet harboring treasures yet to be discovered. #2. HAT P7b. Approximately 1,100 light-years distant in the constellation Cygnus, there exists a planet exhibiting numerous characteristics we have previously observed. It surpasses Jupiter in size and rotates in close proximity to its host star. This proximity results in extreme temperatures exceeding 4,000 degrees Fahrenheit during daylight hours. The planet absorbs over 97% of the light that reaches its surface, rendering it exceptionally dark. However, its atmosphere is what sets it apart. It possesses an atypical concentration of aluminum oxide, commonly referred to as corundum. When corundum is subjected to the right amount of pressure, an unusual phenomenon occurs. The planet frequently experiences violent storms, and the interplay of winds and atmospheric pressure extracts corundum from the atmosphere, causing it to precipitate onto the planet's surface in the form of rubies and sapphires. The exact quantity of these gems that emerge from the atmosphere and their condition remains uncertain, yet the fierce winds on the planet suggest that these valuable stones could be scattered across the surface of HAT P7b. Now, are you prepared to delve into the ultimate death world? #1. HD 189733b. Situated merely 64.5 light-years from our solar system, hidden within the constellation of Vulpecula, is a planet that may possess the most severe conditions in the universe. Initially, it did not appear that way, in fact. Upon its discovery, it likely appeared stunning. Its deep blue hue gives it a serene and almost Earth-like appearance. However, this planet, which is larger than Jupiter, has an average temperature exceeding 1,500 degrees Fahrenheit and possesses an atmosphere primarily made up of silica. When temperatures rise, this planet becomes exceedingly perilous. Silica serves as the fundamental component of sand on Earth, and when sand is subjected to sufficient heat, it transforms into the basis of glass. Couple that with the extreme winds present on this planet, which can exceed 5,000 miles per hour, 7 times the speed of sound, and you have a formula for catastrophe. Not only does it rain glass on this planet, but it also rains sideways, as sharp shards slice through the air at speeds too fast to be perceived. Therefore, if this planet harbors any intriguing secrets, it is likely to keep them hidden. For additional information regarding our peculiar solar system, please refer to The Mysterious Event That Made Venus a Death Trap.